Okay, we ready? Well, let's go. You weren't given your children by accident. God chose you specifically to be their father. Welcome to Dad on Purpose, presented by Daddy Up, where we learn to reflect the heart of Jesus in our home and protect the next generation through faith, presence, and love. I'm Jason Jones, and together we're choosing to be Dad on Purpose. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I keep always saying ladies and gentlemen when I start this. I guess, ladies, if you're listening, let me know. Send me like some sort of a message on socials or something. Let me know if you guys are digging the podcast. Because again, this isn't just for the fathers. I know it's father centric, but it's really about parenting in general. So, ladies, if you're listening, if you're digging the podcast, reach out, let me know, man. I'm interested to know. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for tuning in for another episode of Dad on Purpose, presented by Daddy Up. This is episode 4. We've gotten 3 in the book so far. And again, I just want to say how much I thank you for just coming back, right? And just being here on this journey. It means a lot to me. Not even a lot. It means, I guess a lot is the best way to say it. It just means so much to me that if you're on episode 4, that means there's probably something in the first 3 episodes that kind of touched your heart. So the fact that, my testimony that I've given so far is you've heard something that makes you want to keep coming back is just, it's humbling to me. And I can't do anything but thank you, sincerely and genuinely thank you for continuing to, to tune in, to listen and to grow. Right. So with that being said, again, this is episode 4. The title of this episode is Presence Over Perfection. Again, presence over perfection. I'm just gonna, before we get into the episode, I'm just gonna say this real quick. For the first, I don't know how many years of being a father, I felt like I had to be perfect, right? Like one wrong move may have the ability to negatively affect my children for the rest of their lives. Which I guess depending on this what decision we're talking about could possibly be true, but you put an undue, unnecessary amount of pressure on yourself as a father when you feel like everything that you do has to be perfect. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to give, just like I did in the last episode, I gave credit to where the thought in that episode came from. I'm going to give credit again because I don't want to take anything that anyone ever brings to me and make it seem like it's my own because I'm smart, right? But I'm not that smart. So in a conversation recently with my brother-in-law, Vincent Dwyer, oh, I'm sorry, why call him Dwyer? I'm sorry, Vincent Dyer. He was saying, we were talking about just some of the things that we struggle with as fathers, and he could hear the pressure that I was putting on myself for something that, one of my kids was going through at the time. I was taking the blame for it. I was taking the responsibility. And he's like, bro, he was like, yo, you're gonna mess up your kids, right? Like that's part of being a father. Our parents messed us up. Their parents messed them up. Like it's almost part and parcel or hand in hand with being a parent or a father. You're gonna mess your kids up. Give yourself some grace. You can't be perfect all the time. And when he said that, it struck a chord with me where it was like, no, you're absolutely right. My my children's path or their journey is their journey. And there are most certainly going to be things that I do that affect that journey, but the their path is already kind of created. And my mistakes are already kind of in there, right? Like my mistakes as a parent is something that that they need to deal with because they have to learn how to overcome. So you're not going to make every decision perfect, right? Every decision isn't going to be right. Every choice that you make is not going to be perfect. You are going to mess up along the way. It is without a doubt. So give yourself some grace when you do and understand that that's part of your journey to get better as a parent, but it's also part of their journey to learn to deal with adversity and learn how to overcome. So let's get into things here. I just want to my opening thought on this whole thing, and I know I've given a whole opening thought already, but the opening thought is that, today I just want to take some pressure off of you, right? We live in a world where dads are expected to know everything, to fix everything, and to never struggle. But here's the truth. Again, your kids don't need a perfect dad. They need a present one. And again, you know that I repeat when it's something that kind of sticks out, or when it's something that, it's a point that I'm trying to get across. So I'm going to repeat again. Your kids don't need a perfect dad. They need a present one, right? Presence over perfection. That's what we're talking about today. Now, I think every dad has had moments where we feel like we're failing, right? Like we're not giving enough time, enough patience, enough wisdom, enough leadership. Insert any word here that you want. Like sometimes we just feel like we're not giving enough, right? And then we compare ourselves to other fathers, the ones who look like they're crushing it on social media or wherever, you're getting that influence from. Meanwhile, we're wondering why we raised our voice, why we came in hot, why we didn't take the time to think before we reacted, or why we missed another bedtime, or why we're so tired all the time and we can't go out and throw the ball with them, or we missed that opportunity. We struggle with those things. So I want to let you know, man, like, listen, if you've ever felt that, welcome to the podcast, right? Like, welcome to fatherhood. That means you care, right? It's the ones who don't care, who just, they don't even understand the opportunities that they miss. When you feel guilt, that means you care. So you're on the right path. You're getting to where you need to get to. I want to give, normally I'll give some sort of a story to kind of get across the point that I'm trying to make in the episode. And normally, at least for the first 3 episodes, it's been my perspective as a father, right? I want to now give my perspective as the child. And I remember as a child an incident with, I don't even want to say an incident because it's not an incident. It's an experience that I had with my father. Like, everything was. It was an experience. I remember being, I don't know how old I was, maybe 5, 6, somewhere around there, right? And I remember it's two stories that I'm gonna, well, I'll just give you the one. I'll give you the one. No, I'm gonna give you both of them. I'm gonna give you both because they both kind of are relevant in what we're talking about here. So I remember being a kid and I remember I was talking about baseball. I think it was Darryl Strawberry. And I know I'm dating myself here. I'm kind of aging myself. But when I was a kid, I played sports growing up pretty much my entire life. Darryl Strawberry was huge, right? He was my favorite player at the time. And I remember my dad was doing something. I can't remember exactly what, but he was doing something that at the time was important to him. And I remember just saying something. I think I was looking at baseball cards and I was like, "Oh, Dad, I got a Darryl Strawberry card." Like I was so excited. And I remember he turned to me. I could still remember the face that he made, right? He turned to me and he was like, "Listen, Jason, I get it, right? Like I understand Darryl Strawberry he's groovy to you. And I promise you, that's exactly what he said, right? He's like, I know Darryl Strawberry is groovy to you right now, right? Like, okay, but I'm busy. And I remember just the way I felt, right? He made me feel so small. And I'm gonna say again, like what I said in episode 2, I believe, right? I'm not crushing my dad. I'm not trying to paint him in a bad light. It's just my experience. It's my truth, right? Just from my perspective, I remember feeling so small, like, man, I'm bothering him. He's trying to do something. I'm talking about Darryl Strawberry and he could care less. And it was kind of like, I guess, a notice to me, or I don't know if notice is the right word that I'm looking for here, but I just kind of felt like if I'm going to talk to him, it better be about something that's important, or I got to choose what I'm going to say because I just don't want to I don't want to feel like that again, and I don't want to feel like small to my dad. And I bring that story up because I just needed in the moment. I just needed my dad to be present. I didn't need perfection, right? And to be completely honest with you, I mean, his response wasn't trying to be perfect anyway. He was just being real, like, dude, shut up. I'm busy. But I just, in that moment, I needed him to be present. And, He wasn't, and it was something that stuck with me for a long time, and to be completely honest, if it's a story that I'm telling now, probably it's still sticking with me, right? So that's the first one. The second story I'm gonna give you is another experience again with my dad, where I was around the same age, maybe even a little bit younger. But I remember for it was at least 3 days, if not more. I remember I got a little cops and robbers set, right? It was like these little plastic handcuffs. There was a little sheriff's badge. There was a cap gun. I know, cap guns aren't really a thing anymore, but when I was a kid, cap guns were, oh man, if you had a cap gun, boy, you couldn't tell me nothing. But I remember I got this set. It was a whole cops and robbers set. And I remember like, oh, I want to play with my dad. Right. And he came home from work one day and I was like, Dad, can we play cops and robbers? Like, I'm going to be the cop. You be the robber. And his response, he was like, look, son, I'm a little tired. We'll do it tomorrow. I'll play with you tomorrow. And I was like, okay, all right, no big deal. And the next day came. And I remember he came home and same enthusiasm, same excitement that I had the first day. I asked him again. I said, hey, can we play cops and robbers? Can we play cops and robbers? I was so excited to put these handcuffs on him. And he was same response. Son, tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll play. And I was like, okay. The third day came and I exact same enthusiasm, same excitement. Matter of fact, it's probably more because the anticipation was building from the previous 2 days of like, today is going to be the day that we finally do it. He told me no the last 2 days. Today is finally the day. And he came home that third day and I got the same response. And like I know, like I said, it was at least 3 days, but I feel like it was even more. I feel like that same experience happened for about like 5 days. And on whether it was the third day, the fifth day, whatever day, fourth day, whatever day it was, I remember he came home and I was so excited and I asked him again and he said no. And I was just so dejected. Felt like my heart was just like he just pulled it out of my chest and stomped on it. And I remember like dropping my head, dropping my shoulders and walking away so sad. And I remember I could hear my mom say to him, hey, he's been asking you to play for days now. Just play with him. Just, just, just do it. And I guess whatever her saying that got through to him. And he was like, all right, son, come on, let's play. And boy, when he said that, it was like the previous couple days, 3, 4, 5, whatever it was like they never happened. All that joy and excitement and everything just came rushing right back into me. And it was like, let's play. And I, put the handcuffs on him. And I still remember vividly the little play session that we had where it was cops and I may have lasted maybe 5-10 minutes, right? But it just lit me up for the rest of the night and then for days, past that, where I was just like, my dad loves me. Man, he played cops and robbers with me, man. It was great. Man, that was awesome. And, I bring those stories up because there's just times as dads when we come home from work or whatever the situation is, where it's not a good time, right? And for whatever reason, we're tired, we're just not in the mood, whatever it is, when these kids ask for something, and we don't give them what they need in the moment. We don't choose to be present. And those are one of those things, like I said, that the wrong decision can have very long lasting effects on your children. I'm 46 years old and I'm still sitting here talking about how my dad didn't play cops and robbers with me when I was like 5. You understand what I'm saying? Like, again, it's nothing that like affects my life today, like, but it's still something, these are things that I'm unpacking. So it's decisions like that can have very far reaching effects on our children and on their psyche and on their confidence, to be completely honest with you. So just be careful, right? Be careful when it comes to being present, right? And also being present over trying to be perfect. Just choose presence every time. Just choose to be present, right? It's going to do a lot more good than anything else. So, like I did in the last episode, I just want to give three ways that for this week, right, where you can just try to be present with your kids, right? So let's get practical. Again, 3 simple ways where you can show some presence this week. The first, pause. Slow down enough to notice the moment. And this one is hard because In the world that we live in now, where we can barely afford groceries or we can barely pay the bills and we got to be on go all the time trying to figure out how we take care of everything that we're responsible to take care of, pausing sometimes can be extremely difficult, but it's vital. You have to slow down enough to notice the moment. A couple years ago, I went to Six Flags with my kids. And I remember as a kid, I rode the log flume with my dad all the time. He loved riding the log flume. And we were walking through Six Flags and I saw the log flume. It was open. And I was like, come on, let's ride. And I remember sitting there with the kids. I had my two youngest with me because all four of us, or all five of us with me included, we couldn't all fit in the same, I guess, like little log. So I had the two youngest with me. And I remember sitting there, and the ride lasted, what, 5 minutes at the most? But I just stopped. I slowed down. And in the moment, I felt like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. Like, I remember being in the same log flume with my dad and how much he loved it. Now look at me sitting here 30, 40 years, however many years it was later with my kids. I just paused and I enjoyed that moment. And I promise you that feeling that I had when I paused and I was able to enjoy it in the moment and not reflect, but actually in the moment, it's still, it'll just, if I think back to that, it'll light me up for the rest of the day, right? Like I'll be good to go. It just gives me such a sense of pride. So pause, slow down enough to miss or to notice the moment. Number two, participate, right? Enter their world, even if it's silly or it's short. Like I said, I asked my dad for days on days on days, dude, just play cops and robbers with me. It was silly and it was short, but that's what I needed from him. I just needed him to participate, enter my world. Just come on here with me, right? I know you don't want to do it. I know you're tired. I know you're beat up throughout the day. And now the world just kicks your ass. But just come here, be with me for a minute, man. I just need you to let all that go and just understand that I'm important right now. And that's what we have to do. Sometimes we have to understand that these kids are important. But we got to just slow down, right? Sit down and watch an anime with them. Sit down and talk about a cartoon or the YouTube video or what happened, whatever it is, right? Just participate. Enter their world, even if it's silly or short. And number three, like I said in the last episode, right? Pray. Invite God into your fatherhood with them or for them, right? Because small things done consistently can create big security. So just pray, whether it's over them or you're by yourself. Prayer answers questions. Prayer changes everything. So pray. I'm somebody who I didn't grow up in church. I just didn't go to, I was never like kind of like, hey, you're going to church today. So when I started going to church, I didn't know how to pray, right? So you may feel like that. You may feel like, well, I want to pray, but I don't know how. Go to God intentionally and bold and just say, Father, thank you. I ask for your help with whatever it is. Keep them safe, Father. Keep me safe, Father. Build me up to be the man that they need. Help me where I struggle, Father. Fill in the gaps for me, Father. And then thank him on the way out. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Father. Thank you for all that you've done for me. Thank you for all that you continue to do. Thank you for the blessings. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for it all. And just go. So again, three things. Pause. Slow down enough to notice the moment. Participate. Enter their world. Right? Silly, short, doesn't matter. Enter their world. And number three, pray. Invite God into your fatherhood. He's the reason why you are a father. So not inviting him in it's counterproductive. Invite him into your fatherhood and watch what he does. Right. So that's that. I do want to say that I hope with this podcast, and I just hope as just men, fathers, mothers, whatever it is in general, that you're learning and that you're growing because you are learning and you are growing. And God isn't asking for flawless performance. He's asking for faithful presence. Again, I'm going to say that. God isn't asking for flawless performance. He's asking for faithful presence. Don't worry about being perfect. Just be present. When you show up, even imperfectly, when you show up, you make your home safer, your kids stronger, and your legacy deeper. So please keep that in mind. And I want to close out this episode a little bit differently than what we've done in the past. Just a short prayer, right? Just a short prayer to kind of thank God and just ask him to be with us on this journey. So if you're able, right, if you're in a place where you can close your eyes and bow your head, do that. If you're driving and you're listening, do not close your eyes, do not bow your head. But, be in the moment here with me. So, Father, thank you. Thank you for the gift and the responsibility of being a dad. Help us show up, Father, even when we feel tired or unsure. Grow patience in us, Father, wisdom in us, Father, and love through us. Remind us daily that you choose us for our children, and you will equip us for this calling. Protect our kids, strengthen our families, and lead us as we lead them. In Jesus' mighty and glorious name we pray. Amen. So that's episode 4, another one in the books. And again, I hope there was something in this episode that, touched you, touched your heart or your soul or your spirit in some manner. And if not, maybe the next one will, right? So either way, I thank you for joining me today. And like I've said before, I'm going to say it again. Remember, your presence is powerful. Your role is sacred. And God chose you for this calling. Fatherhood is not easy, but it's holy work. Keep learning, keep loving, and keep leading your family in faith. Until next time, be dad on purpose.